Hi there. Welcome to our meditation practice where we are going to sit with the yoga yama of Aparigraha. Aparigraha is our relationship to non-grasping, to not holding on to things, and specifically grasping as a form of resistance. We start to see how things unfold in our life and the places where we hold on, where we resist what is happening, is where we amplify our stress and our suffering. And if we look at some of the things that are going on in our personal life and in our inner environment, we can start to see this direct connection between when we are unable to let go and when we amplify our own suffering. Once we become aware of that, that is the turning point for us. When we start to become aware of where we are grasping and where we are resisting the natural comings and goings of life, once we notice that, and you can feel that discomfort because we all do it, and then we can start to gently invite ourselves to soften, to open. You might remember a similar pattern, a very supportive pattern that we talked about when we were studying Saucha as the process of cleansing, letting go of the things that cling to us. So as we go about the day, it's almost like dirt or residue, energetic things. These cling to us. And we go through the process of Saucha, of cleansing, to go back to that state of being purely us, of letting go of everything that is not us. And then we come into the Yamas, and Aparigraha starts to show us that not only do things cling to us, but sometimes we cling to them, we grasp. And we resist that natural flow of things that are meant to come into our life at a certain time and things that are meant to leave our life at a certain time. And when we resist that, it takes up a tremendous amount of our mental effort, our energy gets depleted. There are all these places where it becomes like an energy draw, and we start to become quite stressed and disconnected to the natural patterns. So what Aparigraha helps us to do is to steer back into that place of openness, an openness to the unfolding of life, allowing things to come in, allowing things to go at whatever time and pace is meant to be. So we're going to go through our practice of using breath and mantra to create space and to work through the layers of our being so that we can get to that space of inner clarity. And that is where the work of our meditation, of really creating an atmosphere of self-reflection and self-awareness, becomes that much more effective. So we'll start to settle into a comfortable position that you can maintain for about 20 or so minutes. Lots of props. And when you're ready, the eyes might close. But as part of our relationship to safety, we never force the eyes to close. If it doesn't feel natural, the eyes can stay open. You can gaze down softly. And at any point during the practice, if something starts to feel a little too intense or you start to feel ungrounded, we always have that ability to open the eyes for a moment and gaze down. I'll usually just look at the ground in front of me, remind myself of where I am and that I am completely safe in this moment. And then without forcing, when it feels natural to step back into that inner awareness, you can do so. So that's one of our built-in patterns with our practice that keeps us anchored in safety. Anytime we need to step out, we can. Letting your attention float down and land in your body. Here I am. Here I am sitting in my meditation practice. This is my time to connect with myself, to find that experience of being grounded, being supported. And maybe watching how cultivating this new sense of awareness supports my personal growth or my healing. And perhaps feeling the movement of the breath. Letting the breath be exactly as it is. You don't have to do anything to it. Just watching it. Maybe even experiencing a little bit of wonder at how this pattern carries on without us having to do anything at all. It is always moving, creating that connection to energy and vitality. And we'll start to move into the space of connecting with our breath. And very much like we did with Saucha, with cleansing and letting go, we can think about the concept of the open hand. This is the image that comes to my mind when I think of non-grasping. Can I move into that space of the open hand? Open to receive what is coming toward me, and open to let go of what is moving away from me. Both of those are natural processes. And we start to understand the balance that exists in the movement of coming in and letting go. It is that deep wisdom that is ingrained in our breath. The breath coming in and the breath letting go. And we start to allow our hands to move softly, inhaling the fingers open, exhaling the fingers closed. Just a gentle effort in each direction. Notice if there's a tendency to want to change your breath or to force it to do anything. See if you can soften that pattern and lean back into that space of trusting your breath, trusting it to find the pattern that is supportive for you right now. We start to find a bit of openness to the wisdom that is inherent in our body and in our breath. And then little by little, we'll start to focus on the bottom of the breath. And what I mean by that is the space that exists after you finish your exhale. So we inhale, the fingers open gently. We exhale, the fingers curl. And as the lungs become empty, we pause in that open space just for a few seconds before starting to inhale again. That pause can be just a few seconds. Over the cycle of several breaths, if you feel like you're starting to get a bit more comfort and settling with that open space, that hold might start to become a little bit longer. Every time you find yourself in that pause at the end of the breath, that open experience of space, seeing if you can let yourself settle down into it or even root down into that stillness. The open space as the space of potential. And then we'll start to transition into working with the mind, working with words as an instrument to create space in our thought process. I think that is a challenge for most of us in our process of meditation. So the mantra can be quite an important tool. And today, working with the very simple phrase of let go. If you feel supported by the breath and the movement of the hands, you can keep that pattern going. But if you prefer to flip the hands over, let the hands rest, and just focus on the words, you can do that as well. Saying the words to yourself, let go. And being very specific with the tone and the attitude of those words in your mind. We are not using these words as a demand or as a direction. We are offering them to ourselves from a place of softness and curiosity. It's almost like the words are saying, what would it feel like if I let go? We'll start to soften our connection to that mantra. We let the mantra go and we see what is left in that open space, bringing curiosity. And now that we've worked through connection to the body, connection to our breath and our energy, and created space and clarity in the mind, we use that space that we've created internally to go into that work of our practice. Starting by visualizing our physical body. Almost like in the mind, you're watching yourself sitting right here. This is my body. This is the container for my experience. This is my ability to interact with the world. And we recognize that sometimes within our body, we might hold physical tension. We might hold effort where effort is not needed. Where is there something in my body that I'm holding on to, that I am grasping? When a particular space comes into your awareness, let your awareness rest there for a moment without having to do anything. What does it feel like when I grasp? What is that experience? And then curiously asking yourself, what would it feel like if I let go? Perhaps a feeling of discomfort or vulnerability can come up. Perhaps a sense of ease of reminding yourself, oh, I can let go. Almost like we forget that that is an option sometimes. As we stay here with that awareness in our body, without forcing, without trying to make anything in particular happen, you are just gently offering yourself this curiosity. What would it feel like if I let go? Even just for a moment. We'll draw our awareness down to the next layer of our being, which is our energetic layer, to our breath, to all of the energy centers and that underlying vitality that animates us makes everything possible. And on our energetic layer, we can also experience grasping, holding on to a particular feeling or experience, sometimes positive, sometimes negative or neutral. We start from that place of awareness. When I look at my energy layer, when I create that open awareness, can I notice grasping? Is there something I'm holding on to? What would it feel like to invite the experience of letting go, even just a bit, to rest in that open space? And we'll start to bring the attention to the mind. And in the mind, we have thinking, sometimes in words, sometimes in images, sometimes memories. And then within this layer, we can also have emotions that come up. Any sort of different feeling. So we watch this process. Is there a word or a phrase that we are holding on to? Is there perhaps an emotion that we are grasping? Can I become aware of the energy that goes into that? How much energy and effort goes into holding on and resisting? What would it feel like if I offered myself the experience of letting go? Even just a bit. Softening that grasp, opening the fingers, and seeing what that little bit of softness would feel like. And we'll start to draw our attention back. Like we're creating this overall view of all the different layers that make us who we are. And our human experience is this constant interaction There's this dynamic quality going on inside of us every moment. Thoughts, feelings, memories, hopes and dreams for the future. The different experiences on our energetic layer, sometimes feeling incredibly vital and alive, sometimes feeling somewhere in the area of neutrality, and maybe sometimes feeling heavy or stuck. Can I create an experience of openness to all of those things? It is all of that that creates my human experience. And when I grasp onto one, recognizing the resistance and the energy that goes into that, watching how when we invite openness, even just the littlest bit of openness, some of that resistance dissolves. Some of that energy becomes free. And seeing our physical body as this container for that whole experience going on. And very often our body can be the layer that tries to give us clues about what's going on underneath. Perhaps it's hard for us to read our energy for all of the different spaces that exist. Perhaps it is challenging to be in touch with our emotions. For many of us, that's hard. So the physical body can be the space that starts to show us little hints, a feeling, a bit of tightness, discomfort. Very often our first response when we notice that is resistance. Push it away, ignore it, trying to fix it. And then perhaps that next step can be letting your awareness rest there. Reminding yourself that you don't have to resist. And sometimes taking a look underneath, going a little bit deeper, can be the path that helps us to find greater insight, greater connection to what our deeper experience is. And then from that place of understanding, perhaps softness and openness become a natural next step. It is one of the great gifts that the practice of yoga gives us, is that through all of the hardship, the challenge, the difficulty that we go through as humans, we have these systems of support, these systems to create awareness, so that instead of grasping and protecting ourselves, building stronger and thicker walls, we are given these tools to step into this place of openness. Can I stay soft and receptive? Can I be open to what is here? That is what Aparigraha invites us to do. Starting to let your attention anchor down into your body, into that feeling of being supported. And even before we open our eyes, there can be a process of expanding your awareness to the space around you. Kind of feeling your way into that space. And then when you're ready, the eyes can open, but looking softly. Maybe blinking slowly, like you're gently inviting that visual information, that outside world in. We can bring some movement to the eyes, just scanning what is around you. So we have that transition period, that gentle absorbing what is around you, integrating the inner and outer world. So you have a moment to kind of see, what is my experience now? When I rejoin the inner and the outer world, what is that like now? Every time we come out of our meditation practice, every time we come out of our yoga practice, we are a slightly different version of who we were when we went in. So being gentle with that transition, being curious and being gentle. Thank you for joining me in this practice, this entire practice of exploring yoga's yamas, absorbing them, seeing how they create this constant source of guidance and internal support for us, and how we can have a very dynamic relationship with the yamas. It's not about somebody telling us how to live according to the yamas. It is about us taking the yamas and seeing how they apply in our particular experiences and our very unique life. And I hope that that has provided a source of support and created a more supportive internal environment for you. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Hi there, I'm Laura. Thank you so much for joining us in this community meditation practice. If you would like to join us for the live sessions in our free community meditations that we hold every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time through our Zoom classroom, you can use the link below to check out the schedule in the virtual studio. I hope to see you there. Hi there, I'm Laura. Thanks for being here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you are subscribed. You can also head over to lauragyoga.com to get into our virtual yoga studio. That is our community for healing and self-development through the techniques of yoga therapy. You can join us for meditation sessions, therapeutic workshops, live yoga classes. You can check out the on-demand yoga therapy library with over 400 videos and growing every day. And you can also book a private session to work with me as a yoga therapist. You might want to check out one of these videos picked out especially for you, and I will see you in the next one.